What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Now, what are we looking at today? Well, this is the VDK Impaler, and I am really excited to share this with you guys today. This is one of VDK knives that was made when he was having his knife made by We, which means that it is exceptionally well made. It is S35VN, it is all titanium, it is integral, depending on how you want to say it. It has a very sort of traditional We pocket clip. It is running on bearings. This is just a gorgeous and well-made knife, and I'm very excited to have it in the collection and very excited to share it with you. Now, my interest in VDK goes back a long way, but I hadn't really had a chance to get my hands on any of them. And of course, recently I got this, which is the VDK Vice. This really inspired me to want to check out his work. So I've been poking around in the secondary and the used market. And when this Impaler came up, I sold some stuff and jumped on it. Now, it was about 300 bucks. They're not inexpensive. They were a lot more than that new. They were close to $4. This happens to be number 136. I don't know how many he made. I do know that they are sold out. But you can find them on the secondary market if this kind of knife appeals to you. And I got to tell you, it appeals to me. Absolutely. It is integral. It is, as I said, made by We. It is gorgeous. The complex grind on this blade makes me silly happy. It is compound grind here. This is a little thicker than at the tip. It is very thin and slicey. We did a spectacular job in making this knife. There is no blade rock, no wiggle, no lock rock, no nothing. It is as solid as the day it was made. I don't know how many hands this has passed through, but now it has landed in mine. It is comfortable to hold. And because of the way they've done this sort of ridiculous and gorgeous tip, it is very slicey. This is an absurdist knife that also makes one heck of a regular EDC. Well, let's take a look at what you get. You get 1, 2, 3 1/4 inches of cutting, right? On 3.5, depending on where you go, 3.5 inches of S35VN. The overall knife is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just about 8.5 inches long. The grip area from just behind the flipper there is 1, 2, 3.5, or a little over 4 if you count after the roll here. And I do. It is a little tight for me, and yet, because of the way this handle is shaped, it is relatively thick. I get a grip on this thing like nobody's business, even with my pinky out here on this little edge. If this was sharper, or if the knife was thinner, this might be a problem, but it isn't. And that is really good. You get some very nice jimping here for push cuts, and this thing is built for that. But also, again, because of this compound grind, both are hollow, by the way. This thing is a marvel for draw cuts. It is a razor blade up here at the tip. Look at that shape. Isn't that gorgeous? It is a little sharp here at this edge as well, which can make carrying it in the pocket a little bit of a challenge. But of course, this is facing away from where your hand would slip in and out of the pocket. But this is a little edged. Some people have taken these and have milled off or shaved off this edge to make an aftermarket custom version of this that doesn't have it. And now that I own one, I can sort of understand why, except I would never do that because I love it just the way it is. The world is full of $200 and $300 knives. Getting one that really appeals to you, that works for you, is, well, kind of has to be what's important. And I got to tell you, this thing works for me at every possible level. It is really ridiculous and also very useful. I've had it for a little while now, and it has never not cut what I wanted it to. Some knives look super fascinating but don't cut very well. Some knives cut very well, but they're sort of boring. This is a great combination of aesthetic design and functionality that makes me silly happy. But that seems to be kind of his style. The vise here with this giant harpoon blade, when I first got it, I thought, well, that's nuts. And it is, except this blade shape, and there's a full review of this coming, is remarkable for everyday tasks. The Impaler is no different. It is really an excellent knife to carry and use, and that is fantastic. Let's do some size comparisons while we're thinking about it. Here, of course, is my small knife that I use. This is the Benchmade Bug Out, and as you can see, if we, of course, line them up, well, the vise is just bigger. This is a small knife. Larger knives, well, here is the Doug Ritter Hogue, or in this, we're going to call it the full-size Griptilian, because that is basically what it's modeled after. And as you can see, they are almost identical in size and shape. You get a little less blade on the vise than you do on the Hogue here, but you get a whole bunch more interesting knife for your efforts. How does it compare against big knives? Well, here's another new knife to the channel that we'll be doing a review of relatively soon. This is the Benchmade Contigo. This is the KnifeWorks edition that happens to come in M390, and we will get to this on the channel later on. But as you can see, I mean, it's not, the Impaler is not an enormous knife, but it is super fascinating. Up until very recently, I had never had an integral, or integral, depending on how you want to say it. Then I got the Max Ace Sandstorm, which is, of course, enormous. And that made me realize that I had been avoiding them for no reason. Then down the road a little bit, I got the Resenti designed Snafu 2.0 from Custom Knife Factory, also integral, and that has really pointed me in this direction. So the collection that I grow when I'm not picking up knives just for the purpose of review, I'm leaning into this now. It is very cool, and apparently we can do a great job. If you are into this kind of thing, they, like I said, they are on the secondary market. They range in price depending on which one you get and how they look, from $300 up, but not too much more. And you can get them for less than that if you get one that's a bit of a user. I know that this is an expensive knife, but, you know, this is a collection piece for me. And that's what happens on this channel sometimes. We do everyday users that I recommend powerfully that most people go out and get, like this Bug Out, for sure. And then we do stuff that I've brought in for me. And this is for me. Now, if you like it, that's awesome. I hope you go out and get one. If you don't like it, that's cool too. There will be more stuff on the channel that is more oriented towards regular use as we go along. But this is the kind of thing that I am collecting for my own satisfaction and happiness right now. And I got to tell you, I am very happy with this. Well, that's about it. This is the VDK Impaler. I've been a Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love it if you'd like the video on the way out. The like button down there. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I share all the knives in my collection, expensive, inexpensive, good, bad, wherever the mood takes me, because I love knives, and I love talking about them, and I love sharing them with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.